Hello my book besties, it's Dano and today I am doing my December HRCYED and reading challenges wrap up. I can't believe I am wrapping up the end of 2025. It was such an interesting reading year. I sort of learnt a lot about myself and got to enjoy a whole lot of books, and December was just the same, and I feel like I did pretty well in December, although I did read a couple of short novellas, so that really bumped up my reading a bit too. But thankfully a lot of the reads that I read I could use for prompts in HRCYED. However, I am definitely getting down to the nitty gritty of it all, and a lot of books are only counting for one prompt, and I'm barely able to get some I couldn't even get onto here that I read in December. So, you know, it is what it is, but I'm definitely going to have to think a little bit more strategically when sort of thinking of my TBRs for the next couple of months. Okay, let's get into it. The first book that I read in December was A Cruel Winter with You by Ellie Hazelwood, and I was able to use this book for the Make a Quote, so I finally got another one on this challenge, and I used it for the word you. So, yep. I'm still debating whether or not I need to change this quote, because I am just having such a hard time picking up books that fit the quote that I've used. So maybe I should think about getting an easier quote. I don't know. I really love the quote. I wanted to do something book inspired, but I'm thinking I might just change it and see what I can make work with what I've already read that I haven't used for multiple prompts. So if this is different for next month, that is why. The next book I read was Holiday Ever After by Hannah Grace, and I used this for the subgenre of choice. So this went in for a holiday romance book. The next book that I read that I could fit in HRCYED was Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. I enjoyed this one. There's been lots of mixed reviews on it. I gave it a 4 stars. It was good and it was festive, but I don't think it was quite what I was expecting from it either. I used this one for new release as it was released in November, so I was within the 60 days for that. I also used it for Spooky Creatures because it involves a spirit. Then I read Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. Really enjoyed this book. Cannot wait to get into the rest of the series. And for this one, I used it for the disability representation because she has ADHD. I also do think she has a little bit of PTSD in there as well, but what is described in the book is ADHD. And I also used it for my animals challenge. I did move things around a little bit for this one, so I moved a magical guide to innkeeping to wild animals because we do have wild foxes in Australia, and I put this one into farm animals because a lot of the times we use horses on farms. There are some wild horses around in Australia, I'm sure, but it's just not as prevalent, especially around where I am, so it's more of a farm thing. So I just swapped those around to make it match the place that I live in. Then I read The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. I used this for award season as it was a finalist for the Goodreads challenge. And then I also used it for the A to Z challenge for D. I then read Kingdom of the Feared by Kerry Maniscalco, and this one I used for the last 10 years as it was a 2022 release. I also used it for the A to Z challenge for the letter M. The next book that I read that I could use for HRCYED was All by My Elf by Olivia Dade, I believe, and this I used in the 24-hour reading challenge. The next book was Merriment and Mayhem by Alexandria Bellyfile. I'm so sorry. And this I also used for the 24-hour readathon. These were all a part of the Amazon Under the Mistletoe collection, so including the A Cruel Winter with You, and what was the second one? Merry Ever After. So I completed all 5 of those. The last one being Only Santa's in the Building, and that I used for the 24-hour reading challenge. I also read A Curse So Cruel... No. A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Comer. I use this for the 24-hour reading challenge as well. I also use this for disability representation as the main character has cerebral palsy. The next book that I could use for her kid was Brimstone by Kelly Hart. I used this for the last 10 years, being a 2025 release. And the very last book that I read for the year was The Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore. I used this for the Heritage Months. I used this for Women's History Month. I also used it for the A to Z challenge for the letter G. So all in all, I think I had a pretty productive month for her kid. I definitely made some progress, just not as much as I would like, but you know, that's fine. But going through it, by the hundreds stayed the same at 5. As Many As You Can is now complete with 4. Subgenres of choice has gone from 2 to 3. Series Staircase is still at 5. Award season has gone from 2 to 3. TBR game is still complete. The last 10/12 years has gone from 6 to 8. All the adaptions is still at 4. Disability rep has gone from 2 to 4. Heritage Months has gone from 2 to 3. Translation challenge is still at 2. Around the World is still at 1. Even Bigger Rainbow is still at 11. Make a Quote has gone from 1 to 2. Spooky Creatures has gone from 6 to 7. Become the Avatar is still at 0. Any Readathon is still at 6. Animals Are Better has gone from 2 to 3. Queer Alphabet is still at 2. Favorite Herkid 1 prompt, so the A to Z challenge, has gone from 15 to 18. BIPOC challenge is still at 5. New releases has gone from 4 to 5. Challenge Myself is still completed. Non-fiction challenge is still at 2. And Q's Rex is still at 2. So a couple of changes. We're doing okay, but the problem is the ones that I'm really close on don't line up to create any form of bingo either. So anyway, we've got a few more months. We've got, what, 5 more months? We'll see how much progress we can make. And wrapping up my 25 in 2025, I made 0 progress in December. Did not read a single book on this. So here's hoping my 26 in 2026 goes a little bit better. I know I have included it in my TBR game as well, so hopefully that helps tackle those books a bit more and get those prompts read, but we'll see how we go. The other challenge that I didn't even read anything off in December is my R Fantasy. And this one I need to finish by April, or at least I want to get a bingo by April. So I don't have too much longer left to go. So I definitely need to do some work on this one. But yeah, I didn't do any work on it in December at all. Thankfully, I did do some work on my Romantasy TBR, or my Romantasy bingo. So I completed House of Bane and Blood by Alexis L. Menard. I really enjoyed this one. I found it a super easy read. I just binged through it and I am excited to read the next one. I believe all 3 are now out. I think it's a trilogy. Or maybe it's a duology and they're both out. But I'm definitely keen to get to the next one. I then also read A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Comer, so another one off this list, which I'm very excited for. And then lastly, I read Brimstone, so a 3rd one for December, which is pretty good progress considering this one I have until the 31st of October to complete. So I am making good progress, although I would like to get a few more read. So those are all the reading challenges that I was doing in December. My reading challenge wrap-ups for January and 2026 in general are going to be a little bit more intense because I am doing a few more challenges this year than what I was doing in 2025. So stay tuned for all of that. I'm still trying to get my head around like planning these TBRs and making sure that I'm not setting myself up for failure with them. But, you know, it's all in good fun. I'm not putting so much pressure on myself that I'm, you know, mad at myself when I don't achieve things. It's just a fun thing to aim for at least a bingo. And that's all that really matters. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've read any of the books that I have and really enjoyed them, let me know what you thought about them down below. If you just want to say that you're here and not actually type out anything, put a book stack in the emojis, and I will see you all next time. Bye.